Today, let's explore a story that a lot of people think is already over. It's a story about Web3, the Metaverse, and what's really happening in our digital world. You've probably heard this, right? It's pretty much become the accepted story, that all of this was just a flash in the pan, a burst of tech hype that ultimately went nowhere. But what if that story is just wrong? What if we've all been missing the real plot that's been unfolding quietly in the background? See, the future didn't actually fail. It didn't vanish. It just got quiet. It stepped out of the spotlight to evolve into something much, much bigger. When AI burst onto the scene, it felt like it just erased everything that came before it. But it didn't replace Web3 and the Metaverse. It just changed the timeline. It changed the order of operations. For a while there, we all saw them as competitors, didn't we? A race for what comes next. AI versus Web3 versus the Metaverse. But here's the thing. It was never a competition to begin with. They were always meant to merge. These aren't three separate futures we're talking about. They're three essential pieces of a single converging world. Okay, so let's look at the first piece of the puzzle. The arrival of intelligence. While Web3 was busy building this complex architecture of trust and the Metaverse was trying to design new worlds, AI was off in the corner, quietly learning how to think. In this new world that's forming, AI is the brain. It's the central operating system, an engine that can provide intelligence at a scale we've just never seen before. So what can this brain do? Well, it's already writing our emails, it's designing images, and it's starting to make some pretty complex decisions. Intelligence itself is becoming a utility, almost like plugging into the electrical grid. All right, now for the second piece, the architecture of trust. And to really get this, you have to understand something crucial. Web3 was never really about crypto. That was just the first application. At its heart, Web3 is all about ownership. It's the set of rules for your digital identity, for your personal data, for your entire life online. It's the system that's supposed to answer that fundamental question, who's actually in control here? And this is where it gets really interesting. Because without Web3, without this decentralized way to prove ownership, AI just becomes this incredibly powerful tool for a few people at the top. Web3 is the necessary counterbalance to all that power. And that brings us to our third and final piece, the one that everybody wrote off as a failure, the next form of internet. You see, the Metaverse isn't dead. It was just waiting for the other pieces to fall into place. So if AI is the brain, think of the Metaverse as the space. It's the immersive, physical layer. It's the place where a true digital civilization can actually live and breathe and interact. And right here, this is where the whole picture clicks into focus. This is the inevitable convergence. And it's not some far-off prediction. It's something that is already forming, quietly, all around us. When you see them together, their connection is so clear. Without AI, this new world is just an empty room. It has no intelligence. But without Web3, it's a prison. It has no freedom, no ownership. It's only when you put them together that you get the potential for a real digital civilization. So it really boils down to this simple, powerful idea. AI is the brain. That's the intelligence. Web3 provides the rules. That's the ownership. And the Metaverse is the space. That's the experience. The brain, the rules, and the space. You need all three. So what does all this lead to? It's a total shift in how we relate to the digital world. The next internet isn't something we're going to look at through a flat screen. It's going to be an environment that we literally live inside. And once you really see how these massive forces are coming together, you start to realize something. The most important question here, it isn't really about the technology. It's not about which company wins or which code is better. No, it all comes down to a single, simple, and incredibly powerful word. A word that's going to define everything in the next era of our history: control. Which leaves us with what might be the single most important question of our time. The one question that this whole convergence is forcing us to answer. Who controls intelligence?